What is up, guys? Today we are looking at Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader. It's finally come out, long awaited, developed and published by Owlcat Games, who of course bought us the wonderful Pathfinder games, and has already got very positive, nearly 1,000 reviews on Steam. And much like Pathfinder, we're dealing with a tactical RPG. Now, when I was seeing screenshots and stuff of this coming out, I did have a problem with it. I thought it looked far too colourful compared to every other Warhammer 40,000 game that's come out, where everything's drab, grey, looks horrible, matches the universe, whereas this game had some bright colours and I was like, no, this doesn't feel right. I don't know how I feel about this. So I'm hoping to be pleasantly surprised going into this, but I mean that's just a minor gripe. I think the gameplay, from what I've seen, holds up pretty well, so let's see what we are getting into. We as developers are always trying to improve our work. You want my statistics. I do usually opt out of them. Take up the mantle of Rogue Trader, scion of an ancient dynasty of daring privateers that reign over their trade protectorate and explore the fringes of the known galaxy. Darkness looms over the bloodline of von Valsanius as it faces multiple threats from within its own ranks, and without as countless enemies seek to destroy the most daring and brave agents of humanity. It is up to you to hold the reins of shattered protectorate and forge a new path for the von Valsanius dynasty, currently finding itself in a vortex of wars, intrigues, calamities, and heresy. The stakes are high and the rise even higher as you cross paths with terrifyingly powerful and ambitious adversaries in the darkness of the Coronus expanse. Sounds fun. We will go normal. Interesting. Pathfinder, I know they changed a lot, I think, when it first released. In fact, I've seen a lot of people saying they wanted to stay away from this game until, just give it time to iron out all the bugs, because these massive RPGs always come out with a multitude of problems. And I do remember running into issues with Pathfinder when I first started it. And one of the big issues was the difficulty. It felt a bit all over the place. That said, I am going to be going with the default normal for now. Custom character or 3 pre-mades. So we got Hector, who is a soldier. Darius, who's an operative. And Bahadur, who is a warrior. Well, I think we have to make a custom, come on. Create your very own rogue trader from scratch. The possibilities are endless when it comes to customizing your character and choosing their homeworld. You can also choose from a wide variety of abilities and skills. Blah, 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 blah. Alright. Let's see what have we got. Okay, we start off with a portrait. God, I have no idea. I have no idea what even classes there are. Let's go with... Kind of like that guy. She looks pretty cool. These are all pretty stunning. I think I'm going to go with this guy, because he looks like he's going to be really easy to create in the custom character thing. Oh, I don't actually. Oh, they already. Oh, that's nice. They actually do pre-make them for you. Usually in these games, you choose a portrait and then you find out you can't build a character that looks anything like the portrait. I know there are quite a few portraits in Original Sin where you just like could not make it a character that looked anything like it. Oh, what's the fat guy look like? Amazing. They actually got that pretty well. What does the crazy lady look like? Oh, minus points. No cables and her hair's on the wrong side. Unbelievable. Okay. Interesting. Alright. Well, I'll still go with that guy anyway. Actually, what does this guy look like? Damn, he looks like a badass. I don't know if I'm going to get that headgear, but let's go with him. Oh, hang on. Appearance. Hair. Well, I don't want to mess with any of these. Oh, I can get the augmentations. Aha. So what do we want? We want a half skull. Don't think we can get that exact augmentation. Unless I'm blind. He does have a port on the top left of his head. Yeah. But I don't think we're going to get a cool half skull. Unless that ends up being actual head equipment in the game, maybe. Get a skull cap. And voice.
For the glory of the dynasty,
We have purified the battlefield of the enemy's taint.
excellence matters.
The best defense is a good offense.
Through chaos, I stride. Behold the wrath of madness. Empyrean, take this sacrifice.
Time to reap the spoils of the battle. I am but a vessel for the higher purpose.
Fit for the Fon Phalancius annals.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't think any of those voices match this guy, but we'll go with the bold man. Okay, so we have a number of worlds to start on. Oh, I don't want to get bogged down reading all these because that'll take 10 years. Survival, instinct, fortune, strength in numbers. Geez, a lot of talents on that one. Oh no, I see, there's features and there's talents. Geez, this is definitely super in-depth, which is good. What have we got for... Never stop shooting. Each time a Fortress World character kills an enemy, they gain 10 stacks of Never Stop Shooting. At the start of their turn, there is a stacks of Never Stop Shooting chance that the first attack this round will cost 0 AP and will not count towards the attack limit per round. Hail of Steel, Spare Magazine, Combat Addict. Just trying to get a feel for what kind of character this is. Definitely someone based around shooting rather than melee. Alright, let's go with the Fortress World start. So we want a class that is all about... This is our origin. Ooh, that's pretty close. Okay, we're going to go with a noble, literally just because it's close to matching. You serve me. The noble assigns one ally who will become their servant until the end of combat. Anytime the noble's abilities affect the servant gains +5 to all characteristics. Anytime the servant attacks a target that the noble dealt damage to last turn, the servant gains +10. Interesting. That's like, oh, that lady from the Borderlands pre-sequel. Her abilities were all about tagging somebody and making them their servant. It's an interesting build. Okay. Your strong presence and persuasiveness stopped a feudal war between neighboring systems. You were named planetary governor and survived, having made useful connections on both sides of the law. You had a rival house's reputation destroyed and its members exiled from the sector. Coercion, persuasion, or commerce. I'm gonna go with persuasion. Grim portents. The mysterious tome that was discovered in your family library exacted a terrible toll on your mind. You are a bastard, an illegitimate member of a family that immediately turns back on you. You were kidnapped for ransom and your captors mistreated you up until the moment you were released. The ability to resist negative effects. Your character's understanding of the Imperial tenets represents knowledge about the nature of the warp entities. Sure. Let's have a mysterious book that has warped our minds. Now, okay, cool. So classes go into different classes, but all end up as an exemplar. Well, we definitely want something that shoots. So probably not a warrior. Officers use their willpower and fellowship to improve the combat capabilities of their allies. Probably should have looked at the points that my class had. I don't remember my homeworld. Perception and willpower. Perception and willpower. Intelligence and perception. Soldier is a master of all ranged weapons, quickly able to assume an advantageous position. Well, that's one. That's using swords and stuff, I think. Core focus, extra turns. Well, I already get extra turns from my homeworld thing too, if I play my cards right. And they also use their allies. That kind of does sound like it goes well with what I've already got going, so... Officer it is. Oh, I wish there's a recommended button because I'm a little bit lost on which ones I need. Damn, look at all the stuff they affect. We've already got bonuses in intelligence, perception, and willpower. Fellowship. Probably a good one. I definitely want to be... I can only go up in 5s. Interesting. I'm going to have high fellowship. High ballistic skill. Weapon skill in all combat. Increases parry and dodge. Reduces enemy parry and dodge against melee attacks. Yeah, that's all close combat, so I don't want that. Put something toughness. Some in agility. This looks like a very all-rounded character, to be honest, with a little bit of focus in ballistic skill and fellowship, but oh well. Well, I think I'll take the sword class frigate, maybe. Don't know. Just got a feeling about that ship. Resonates with me. Enter name. Oh god. Oh, what's a good ship name? I don't know. Bottomless Sin. No, wait. Yes, Unending Sin. Much better. Or I could have hit the randomize button that I saw at the last second. Seth. Ooh. Actually dig that. He does look like a Seth. So we've got... That's our only minuses in war. Looks good to me. I hope. It took me 14 minutes, and that was me being quick. So that the whole video wasn't just me creating a character. That was even more complicated than Pathfinder, because at least with Pathfinder, if you're coming from a D&D game, you kind of know what everything is, but that was a lot more complicated. And I'm not as well versed in 40,000 lore as I am with D&D.
An excellent place for contemplation. One has the best view of the cathedral from here. Mesmerizing, wouldn't you say? An impeccable manifestation of the God Emperor's sublimity.
You are in dialogue. Here you can learn more about current events, influence the characters you are speaking to, or even alter the course of the game's narrative. Your character's personal story depends on the dialogue choices you make. Available dialogue options are displayed on the right. Select a reply by clicking the left mouse button. Truly an awe-inspiring sight.
That is the purpose of all temples to the God Emperor. To inspire awe and reverence. For it is the duty of his servants to persevere in their tireless service until they are presented with the chance to give their very life for the master of humanity. Allow me to introduce myself. Conrad Voigtveer, Master of Whispers, in the employ of Her Ladyship Rogue Trader Theodora von Valencius. At your service. I haven't had the pleasure of speaking with you in person before.
Oh my goodness grace. Duke Seth Eos Vendria Dival of Calexis. You may call me Your Grace. I mean, he is a noble. I feel like that's how he would introduce himself.
My deepest respects to you, Your Grace. A noble of the Imperium. It's been a long time since Providence last brought such eminent guests aboard this vessel. I will be frank with you. You may forget your past titles, no matter who gave them to you, or what their origins are. From the moment you and the other candidate were brought aboard this void ship, your fate changed. You now serve Lord Captain Theodora von Valencius, and carry the burden of an heir of this house. Henceforth, you share your dynastic name with Her Ladyship. Bear it with honor.
Oh god, okay, Lord Captain, a strange title. Why am I aboard this vessel? You have a curious title, Master of Whispers. Tell me about the one whose ship I have found myself. You say I am one of the Rogue Trader's heirs, so there's another candidate. I assume you had some goal in mind when you decided to seek me out. Let's start from the top, I guess.
Such are the traditions of the Imperium. Lord Captain is the title that was established in the annals of the Lex Imperialis at the time when the first rogue traders entered the God Emperor's service, and therefore, it is sacrosanct.
Why am I here?
So that you may fulfill your blood duty. Whatever obligations you had before, they are henceforth null and void. By order of the Lord Captain, you have been requisitioned to serve the rogue trader, indeed blessed by the God Emperor. Your former position may have been different from conventional service as part of one of the institutions of the Imperium, but from now on, a different fate awaits you. One chosen for you by the Lord Captain. I advise you to come to terms with this reality as quickly as possible.
What is the Master of Whispers?
To put it plainly, I am the head of the network of spies and informers who serve the interests of House von Valencius. I uncover weak links both among Lady Theodora's retinue and in the ranks of her rivals. I eliminate our vulnerabilities and exploit those of others.
Tell me about the one whose ship I have found myself.
I would rather not discuss the Lord Captain behind her back, especially not on board her ship. No one knows better than I that whispers are wont to attract particularly close attention. Suffice it to say that Her Ladyship is the bearer of the sacred warrant of trade and a woman of immense power and entitlement. However privileged your position may be, I ask that you do not incur her anger by being disrespectful or obtuse. Lady Theodora despises both qualities.
You say I'm one of the heirs. Who is the other?
There is. And you will meet him soon enough.
And I assume you had some gold.
But of course, I have come to invite you to a meeting with Lady Theodora. I imagine you have many questions for your patroness, and I'm sure she has just as many questions for you. It is regrettable that you haven't yet had an opportunity to speak. It has been an arduous voyage thus far.
Just realized I love the candles on the UI.
The Lord Captain and Master Ethelthred von Valencius are conversing on the observation platform. Let us join them there.
Okay. Alright, we're going to be in for a lot of dialogue. It's going to be hard because I need to show off some of the combat. Move your character with the left mouse button, WASD to move the
Victory awaits.
camera.
None shall stand in my way.
Some objects in the game can be interacted with special ways. They are marked with specific icons. I'll tab to highlight objects. What is this? A massive conference table, obviously crafted from real wood. A resource of incredible value aboard a voyage ship. Sacred mechanism has been interfered with due to reverence. The duration of the data processing cycles has tripled. The sacred mechanism has been interfered with, blah 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 blah. Incomprehensible information is displayed on a large screen above the cogitators. You may make out references to unfamiliar systems and words amongst the numbers and logistar symbols. Alright.
A new challenge for me?
She is going at it.
I won't tolerate weakness. We shall prevail.
Alright, we doing this?
One of the von Valencius trophy rooms. Perhaps you would like to take a look around after your audience with the Lord Captain.
What's happening?
Wow, that didn't take long.
Run! The servitors have gone berserk!
Death will find you soon enough!
Okay, to survive in the grim darkness of the far future, you will have to face enemies of all kinds and fight for your life. These hints and tutorials will familiarize you with the combat system. Okay, movement. All battles in the game are turn-based and take place on a grid. Movement points determine how far a character can move in their turn. One movement point corresponds to one cell on the battlefield. Moving diagonally is more costly and costs 2. At the beginning of each turn, movement points are restored to their maximum value. Note that once a character starts moving, the action can no longer be cancelled. Well, we're a gun guy, so do I have to move? Got our pistol shot. Does it have a range on it? We also have our voice of command and our you serve me ability. We'll just go for shot for now.
Already done.
When you're ready to end your turn, press space. So I take it I only have one shot.
I don't have time for this.
Yep. Good one, buddy. I think that has killed you.
Opposing me was your biggest mistake.
Dead. I can scarcely believe it on a day like
Suspiciously
this.
poor timing for such an accident. Servitors malfunction on the officer's deck at exactly the same moment when the rogue trader and her heirs are gathered here. I have blocked all passages between the upper and lower sectors of the residential decks. If this is a deliberate attack, it should stop the culprits from advancing their plan.
I'll take that tour now if you're still
I'm
offering.
afraid I must remain here. For Lady Theodora's safety, I have to oversee the execution of these orders personally. I hope you will have no difficulty reaching the observation platform on your own. It is just at the end of this corridor.
We got a map. Cool, alrighty. The wires in the servitor's head are still smouldering. It would seem the cause of the malfunction was the short-circuiting of the motive force. Tarantula sentry gun, constructed with the blessing of the Adeptus Mechanicus using a standard template construct in the manufactorums of Kiava Gamma.
It's about time.
What are these? Violet alloy. Black shard, resembling obsidian. Massive golden amalgam. The stone of the pedestal is no doubt solid, but its surface shimmers and changes hues, as if someone has captured a piece of turbulent sea within the rock.
Victory awaits.
Strange object that resembles sea coral. A green crystal with white veins.
Follow my lead.
Okay, what else have we got around here? I've got a pretty big area. Do I want to go crazy exploring, or should we just stick with the objective? For the sake of the video, I might just
To the stars.
stay on the true... Actually, what do you have to say? Glory to the Omnisire, giver of knowledge. That is simply irrational, Lady Theodora, says the man dressed in peculiar garb, his voice tight with tension. His face, half of which is covered by sin skin, is twisted in a grimace of displeasure and disbelief. Assimilation into the trade structure would be political and economic suicide, practically an admission of heresy. The tall, grey-haired woman pins him with her gaze, her cybernetic eye flashing crimson. Then suggests an alternative that will satisfy me. I have described the situation, no worse than my seneschal could have done. Make a decision. What will you do with Aeon 6? Ethelthred. I shall survey the room. The first impression of Ethelthrad, who appears to be about 30 years old, is of parchment-like skin stretched over a tightly bundled mass of sinew, implants, and bone. The nervously twitching fingers, the face twisted by a slight tic, and the jerky movements are all signs of some illness or defect that has taken over his physical form. In stark contrast to Ethelthred, Theodora von Valsius' features appear as if they were carved from marble, eternal and indestructible. Head raised high, proud posture, hands clasped casually behind her back. Everything seems to emphasize the difference in status between her and Ethelthrad. Behind the two of them you see two more men. One is a grey-haired officer of impeccable bearing who is studying the contents of his data slate. The other a behemoth, bristling with holsters and baldricks containing all manners of weapons. Our second candidate has joined us. The dry female voice and the powerful feeling of being watched force you to look at Theodora. The rogue trader is looking straight at you, and her gaze, like herself, is predatory and oppressive. Seth, approach and give me your answer. Passive skill tests. Your character's skills reflect their knowledge and capabilities. Some dialogues automatically initiate passive skill tests. If such a test succeeds, new information will be revealed or a hidden dialogue option will unlock. If your character is travelling with allies, a party member with the highest score in the applicable skill is selected for each given passive test. Consider this hypothetical situation, Aeon 6, a new world on the fringes of the Coronus Expanse. High seismic activity, regular magma eruptions, metamorphic rock deposits, prospects for large-scale mining. The world is populated by natives who worship some heretical underworld spirits to protect those who offer them sacrifices. Flights of fancy, you might say, but attempts to install ore extractors have failed for the second time. The mining crews sent to the planet's surface simply vanished overnight. My question to you is, what would you do with the poisoned treasure? Those spirits could well be the natives' name for dangerous aliens. I would first verify that it is indeed the case, and if the population of Aeon 6 engages in Xeno worship. Law the warp. There are ways to confirm whether what is happening on Aeon 6 is witchcraft or not. It might cost several cycles to do so, but it will give us the answer. Why should I concern myself with making this decision? These reports of spirits certainly sound like evidence of heresy, and Aeon 6 must be purged. I do not know. I'm going to go with the top one. So what was my score? Wait, did I say I had a 17% chance? Is that how I read that? Or 17 equals 100%? I'm not sure. Theodora arches an eyebrow. Reasonable and prudent. However, chasing after ethereal creatures may prove a rather long and fruitless endeavour. Ethelthrad scoffs. Apart from Xenos, an untrodden planet might be teeming with myriad horrors that are far more dangerous and difficult to eradicate. I suspect that you, Seth, are simply unaware of their existence. We are both servants of the God Emperor and Lady Theodora. Does it become anyone of our status to engage in petty feuds? Ethelthred looks at you with suspicion. Even among his flock, not all are at peace, Seth. I suggest you familiarise yourself with the fact that where you belong before you are sorely... Ethelthrad. Theodora's tone renders him silent. I believe I gave you an assignment on this ship. Explain to me then why my senior cogitator is still dawdling about the officer's desk instead of proceeding to the middle decks to commence the inspection of the compartments in his purview. I beg your forgiveness, Lady Theodora. Your presence has such a profound effect on me that I well forget the time. Ethelthrad bows ceremoniously and takes his leave without sparing you another look. Bye, Eddie. Theodora's gaze follows him as he leaves. Then she turns to you. So, Seth, why are you here? Yeah, was it not you who sent for me? Was it not you who sent for me? Theodora scoffs. You have ceded the opening that was offered to you in a woeful display of meekness. Admittedly, this tendency is equally strong in all who toil in the Emperor's service. Immutable hierarchy, absolute obedience, lick-splittery, compulsion to please. I value none of these things. From the moment my envoys came for you, the terms of your existence changed. My name is Theodora von Balsius Massimo of Sacrius. Scarus. I am a rogue trader in the service of the God Emperor of humanity, and my rights and freedoms are vindicated by a most sacred relic, the warrant of trade, kept aboard this very vessel. Mine is the honour to venture into the darkness beyond the Imperium and carry humanity's light by powers wicked and heretical reign and bow death and ruin to us all. It is my decision alone to determine the fate of whatever I find past the bounds of the explored void. Every world I discover, along with all that there is to find thereon, resources, people, riches, and mysteries, is mine by right. I command millions of lives, rule over numerous planets, and possess fortunes that no planetary governor or commander could dream of amassing. And you, Seth, are one of those with the von Balseus blood in their veins and a rightful claim to this inheritance when the hour comes. I am ready to take on this sacred purpose. Oh yes, you would be, wouldn't you? The question is, am I ready to choose you over the rest? You came aboard hours before the warp jump and have not yet distinguished yourself in any way. As things currently stand, I have doubts that you are suitable for the role of rogue trader. Blood right alone is not enough to earn the high honour of becoming the bearer of warrant of trade. Nonetheless, your abilities and talents may yet prove useful. If not for the role of Lord Captain, then for that of their closest ally. Theodora sighs and looks away pensively for a brief moment. Alas, even those responsibilities can at times be too challenging for those who share your blood. Conrad Vogtier served me for many years before he made his mistake. Did I hear you correctly? The Master of Whispers is related to you. His kinship to me is most distant, as is yours. Nonetheless, he does bear the name von Balsinius. Even if he avoids using it publicly, and as such, strictly speaking, can be considered my heir. That door, however, is close to him. Voigtfir's performance in his current role is satisfactory. Or it used to be, at least. Naturally, some have yet to arrive on board, but you have had the pleasure of meeting one of them. Ethelthrad may be somewhat disconcerted by the scale of the responsibilities that may potentially fall upon his shoulders. However, I have a good feeling about him as a candidate. Really? If you are satisfied with Ethelthred, then what sense is there in having this conversation? Why are you wasting your time on me? She shakes her head. Impatience. I am rather fond of impatient people. They are not as quick to resign themselves to circumstance and more eager to show initiative. Even if I do choose Ethelred as my successor, I will still require loyal advisors. The skills and knowledge you acquired in your former life may prove invaluable here in the Coronus Expanse. Your noble descent is a sign that power lives in your very flesh and blood. You would never doubt your words or actions, never show weakness, never let an involuntary gesture or a careless word betray your fears or agitation. At least if your upbringing was any thorough as mine was in my time. Many will grovel at your feet, governors, commanders, highborn navigators, conceited lords, and you cannot allow them to sense weakness in the one who stands above them. Moreover, she inclines her head slightly, your remarkable mental abilities were noted in your profile. If you can find a way to exhibit them in the service of the von Valentius dynasty, well, so much the better. I know I'm pronouncing most of these names different every time reading them. I do apologize. Thank you for clarifying. May I ask my questions now? The box affixed to Theodora's attire suddenly comes to life, but all you can hear is unintelligible noise. Theodora winces, shuts off the transmission, and gives you an imperious nod. I have some time before the navigator gives the signal to initiate the void ship's translation out of the warp, and my presence is required on the bridge. An incident took place on the officer's deck? Is that so? Perhaps the technomats were careless during maintenance. Or it could be the warp playing tricks on us in spite of the gala field. Or perhaps there is something to all the stories about the ship being possessed after all. She laughs nonchalantly. The grey-haired officer gives the rogue trader a look of cautious disapproval. Lady Theodora, for the God Emperor's sake, surely you do not intend to start repeating idle rumours spread about the uneducated riffraff. Enough, Abelard. Such heresy amuses me. Idera eagerly retells me everything she learns from the whispers of her unseen advisors. She turns to you. This ship is thousands of years old. It has enough hidden nooks, malfunctioning cogitators, and unused compartments to make ignorant folk speak of spectres dwelling inside the bulkheads and plotting against those who yet live. Where are we headed? The Rykard system. The domain of rogue trader Winterscale, one of my peers and rivals. Only 3 rogue traders exist in the Coronus Expanse, and each of them possess resources comparable to mine. Perhaps you will one day assist House von Valentius in surpassing both of them in affluence and splendour. I set the course for Rykard on the demand. Theodora grimaces. She gives a stern look, then shrugs, for a very specific reason. Perhaps I shall yet to apprise you of the purpose of this voyage, but now is not the time. What are my current responsibilities? Observe, learn, absorb. It will take time for you to find your bearings aboard the vessel and in your new position. Eventually, I will find a post that suits you as I did Ethelthrad. Until that time comes, consider yourself my aide. I don't want to come off as groveling. Navigator, translation, what are these things you speak of? She shakes her head. Sometimes I forget that people without direct access to a ship's bridge may not know the first thing about how a voyage ship travels between the stars. Vessels such as this one are capable of leaving real space and traversing into the warp, an otherworldly dimension of cruel and unthinkable forces. By entering it under the protection of the Gellerfield, we shorten the route to our destination, crossing distances that would require hundreds of years in a matter of weeks instead. Sometimes in days or even hours. That is how humanity spread across the galaxy, and that is how we were able to build the Imperium, which spans millions of stars. I have no more questions. In that case, I shall head to... Theodora's vox awakens once more. This time you pick it up shouting. The Lord Captain freezes, listening to the voxcast, then nods and draws her weapon. Disturbance is reported on the adjacent decks. Seneschal, if the need arises, protect the new blood. She glances at you. It is possible that the chance to prove your worth may have presented itself sooner than you have anticipated. Alright, let's do it. Don't shoot the cameraman!
Submit, and you'll die quickly.
Okay, all combatants act in turns, and their order is determined by an initiative roll. The order of turns is displayed on the left side of the screen, from the bottom to the top. Okay, Theodora is gone first. Kill them. Holy crap. Man is powerful. Holy moly.
Just a minor setback.
Just a minor setback. Use cover to avoid enemy attacks. Cover that a character can hide behind are marked with shield. When standing close to them, the character will automatically take up an advantageous position. In this case, the chance that enemy attack will hit cover and not the character behind them increases. Your character will not receive a bonus if attacked from the side or not protected by their current cover. I guess I need to make somebody a Muppet. Can I pick anybody? Gonna go with Mort. Mort, you are my bitch. What's this thing she gave us? Plus 50 ballistic combat, nice. The officer forces an ally to fully push themselves, increasing the characteristics by 13 for one round. Additionally, all the officer's abilities can be applied to the target of voice of command from any distance. Character who becomes the target of voice command cannot be targeted by this ability again for 2 rounds. Might make her...
Absolutely not.
No? Oh, okay. Fine. Is that because... how much... No, I've got AP. Not sure why I can't do that. Let's take cover.
Never wavered in the face of adversity.
And let's shoot this guy.
All too easy. You didn't stand a chance.
I split that man in half with a pistol. Your character has just landed a critical hit that deals increased damage equal to the character's critical damage stat. Character's critical damage is 150% of their normal damage by default, however certain talents and abilities can increase it. Each weapon has its own critical damage stat, which is added to the character's total stat value during the attack. Nice. So, do I have an inventory? What am I using? A stub revolver. Okay. We don't have any armor or anything. I guess that's me done. Still don't understand why I can't
My specialty.
do that.
I'll pass. I don't have time for this.
Maybe they don't count as my allies because they're like not people I control.
Brace yourself, Abelard.
Nice. It looks so badass, just slightly moving to the right to dodge a swing.
This will leave a scar.
Yeah, that probably will leave a scar. Okay, I've got attacks of opportunity if you're running past people. That man is a weapon himself. That's a melter gun, nice. Your character has received temporary positive effect from an ally. Yep, I've already checked that out. So who's left? No one up there. Is that just this one dude? I think it is. Can I hit from here?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Okay, there's my range there. Oh, it's only just outside of it too. How many movement? That's all my movement. So I can't, I'm gonna have to leave cover.
Let's see how they respond to this. Not a problem for me.
Yeah, I think it might be, dude. Your character is dismissed to increase hit chance, equip a character with a decent weapon and place them on a vantage point. Abilities and talents can improve the weapon skill characteristics with help. Blah 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 blah. Good timing, soldiers. Theodora waves her hand in a commanding gesture. Mort, take a team with you and clear path to the transport line. Do not let a single horse survive. Your character has dismissed... Oh, yeah, right. Abilities and talents. For improved marksmanship, learn talents that increase the perception and ballistic skill. Cool. The rogue trader turns her eyes to you. Didn't bat an eye with the scum burst onto the deck, Not bad. I have seen many an officer who panicked at the sight of combat on the upper decks. The false sense of security offered by their position make them that much more vulnerable to the harsh realities of warp travel. She looks at the box in her hand. All you can hear is a lifeless static. What is happening? From what we have seen, Seth, I can speculate that we are dealing with some variety of madness induced by warp travel. The Seneschal is astonishingly calm for someone who just survived a sudden attack. Such episodes are not uncommon amongst voidsmen who have found themselves outside the boundaries of real space, though such episodes seldom spill onto other decks. Theodora clicks her box a few times. The casters are not working, or have been sabotaged. Either the warp is toying with us, or someone went to great lengths to cut the ship's communications. I will need a direct channel to the engine seer prime before I can get a sense of what we are up against. Whatever it may be, keep your weapons at the ready. I imagine it'll be some time before we no longer need them. How could there be an armed people in the ranks of the crew who dare to attack the Lord Captain? The Seneschal gives you a gloomy look. Trust me, Seth, this is hardly surprising for a crew of thousands. The lower decks are a fertile environment for discontent and heresy, no matter how one tries to incinerate any seed before it can take root. All it takes is a hint of warp influence to cloud the minds of normally obedient cattle. Sporadic riots on the lower decks never reach these compartments. Theodora's anger causes the Seneschal to shrink slightly. No, the tumults of the rabble are always contained within their own territory. This is too well organized. It is spreading too rapidly. The incident with the rampaging servitors may be connected to what is transpiring now. Possibly. Quite likely. Theodora winces and flicks the switch on her box a few times. We'll investigate at a later time. Right now we need to isolate the affected compartments and try to assess the situation. What are your orders? She breaks eye contact with you. Mort has gone on ahead to clear a path for us. If you want to make yourself useful, go after him and see if the arch-militant requires aid. And be quick about it. Alright, well we've hit 50 minutes and we have seen a good portion of combat, character creation, and just kind of general gameplay. I know there's a lot of other stuff like ship combat and stuff like that, but I don't think we're going to be getting that anytime soon. So I'm probably going to wrap up here. Visuals? I'm not. I don't know. Like I said at the beginning of the video, this isn't too colourful. It's alright. It's not too bad. I think later on there's jungles or something, and they just looked so bright and happy and just not very Warhammer 40,000, but I don't have a problem with this. This looks quite fitting for a Warhammer game. Sound is pretty much on par with most Warhammer sounds. Very gothic, very moody. Perfectly suitable for the environs. And the gameplay is pretty much on par with what to expect from if you've played Pathfinder or any other tactical RPG. It seems to be pretty much on par. You got your movement points, you got your action points. Obviously this early on we don't have a lot of abilities to play around with. They showed us a little bit of what advanced combat looked like with those 3 incredibly overpowered characters, and that looked hella dope. I don't think I've ever seen tactical RPG gameplay with guns that look that good. That plasma pistol burst and that melter gun burst were astounding. And my own little shitty pistol critically hitting someone and splitting them in half was quite impressive. And very suitable for a Warhammer game, let's be honest. I don't think anybody would have expected anything less. Yeah, so definitely intrigued to keep playing this, and definitely a thumbs up from myself. There he is. Destroyed. So with that, I'll say like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of this game if you've played any more. Let me know if you have any negatives. Be interested to see. Let me know if there's any other videos you want me to do, any other games you want me to do a video on. Let me know how I'm doing. I'm always looking for feedback on the channel and on my content so I can improve. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.